Hello students, how are you guys doing? Good morning again and welcome to the new class. Hope I'm audible, right? So in this class, we are going to see economic principles applied or applicable in farm management. This is lecture number 12 in your theory portions. So economic principles applied in farm management. So here we have some three keywords, right? We have keyword, first one is farm, second one is management, third one is economic principles. So in the last class, when we studied risk and uncertainty, where we discussed economic principles, right? We said economic principles have two major assumptions: certainty and timelessness, right? That options we don't have that much of liberty. We don't have in risk and uncertainty because both risk as well as uncertainty are uncertain. We cannot be certain about them, as well as they have time lag, right? For example, when you apply inputs for a particular crop, right? After applying inputs, you'll be getting results after 3 months, after 4 months, after 1 month, depending upon the crop. So we have time lag, that is, we have element of time, as well as we have uncertain. But here, when we apply economic principles, we are certain that these economic principles will work and there is no time element. So keeping that in mind, we are going to see how these economic principles with certainty and timelessness can be applied in farm management. Okay. So the first thing is, you know very well, we should be knowing what is farm management, right? What is a farm? A farm is an entity, right, with a fixed boundary where the farming activity is being conducted professionally for sustaining livelihood under single ownership or under single operationship. That is what a farm is. So you need to have a piece of land with a boundary where you have to do the farming activities under a single ownership. That is very important. At least that is what a farm is. And what is farm management? That is, a farm has to be managed. How come? By taking judicious decisions. Decisions regarding what? Regarding the use of resources. Why you have to take decisions about the use of resources? Because the resources are scarce and the resources have alternate uses. The same resource can be used for a number of alternatives. For example, if you are raising two crops, if you have got only one bag of urea, you can apply urea for the crop like groundnut, or you can apply for cotton if you have two crops. So resources are scarce, they have alternate uses, and you have to take the decision judiciously so as to obtain profit on a sustainable basis. This is what a farm management is, right? So we can take judicious decisions for the use of scarce resources which have alternate uses on the basis of economic principles, right? Now, before economic principles, we should understand what is the use of economic principle. So we have studied more than 7 economic principles, right? But here we'll be seeing only 7 economic principles, but you have studied more than that. But it is not recorded in farm management, right? There are so many principles. We'll be focusing only on 7 key economic principles which are required for your course under graduation. When you come to MSc, PhD level and all now in economics, you'll be having to study more than 21 economic principles, right? Right now, 7 is more than sufficient for you. Let us see. Before going into what are those principles, we need to see what is the importance of economic principles. They espouse rationality. They help us to take rational decisions. The decisions have to be rational, because what is rationality? Whatever decision that is being taken to manage a farm should be based on data, should be based on experience, should be based on expertise, should be logical, right? A farmer cannot cultivate a particular crop just because the price of that crop, was more in the previous year, right? If he is cultivating a crop, for example, the case was observed in Karnataka farmers, Tamil Nadu farmers, they were cultivating turmeric. They were increasing area under turmeric. In 2009-10, in that time period, the increase in turmeric area was more than the demand requirements. So what happened? The price crashed down. Even the same is happening in other parts of India also. So the farmer should not cultivate the crop on the basis of the previous year's price, but he should be cultivating the crop on the basis of what is the requirement in the market. So that is what is more important, right? So like that, a farmer has to take some logical decisions. Those logical decisions can be taken only with the help of economic principles, right? Why he has to take all those logical decisions? Because he has to realize objectives and goals. What are they? For example, a farmer can have profit maximization. He can have allocation of resources optimally, or input output optimization, right? He has to allocate resources rationally, and also he has to go for input optimization and output optimization, right? But we have assumptions in economic principles: certainty, timelessness. Certainty, this is what is going to come, right? When you go for this, if you apply 10 kg of urea, you'll be getting 20 kg of groundnut. It is certain. That is what the economic principles believe. And there is nothing called time element. But in reality, we have risk and uncertainty, where nothing is certain. If we apply 10 kg of urea, a farmer cannot be very sure that he'll be getting output or not. And he also has to face the time lag. Whatever decision the farmer is taking, he has to wait for some considerable time period for him to get the results, right? So in economic principles, we have the assumptions of certainty and timelessness. So keeping all these things in mind, let us now see what are the major economic principles that are required for farm management. You see, first, law of diminishing marginal returns, also called as law of variable proportions. Then principle of factor substitution, which is applicable in factor-factor relationship. Then principle of product substitution, which is determined by product-product relationship. And this one, the first law, is determined by factor-product relationship. So we have got all the three relationships between an input and output, right? We have factor-product relationship, the law governing it is law of diminishing marginal returns. We have factor-factor relationship. The principle applicable to it is principle of factor substitution. We have got product-product relationship, and the law governing that relationship is principle of product substitution. All these things we have already seen. Beyond that, the other principles are principle of equi-marginal returns, principle of opportunity cost, principle of minimum loss, and principle of comparative advantage. So beyond all these 7 economic principles, we should be also seeing the time comparison principle, the importance of time. Okay, the time comparison principle. For example, in the case of working capital, that is using money for everyday needs like operational expenses, the farmer doesn't need to worry about the time element. But when he is taking capital decisions, fixed capital decisions, right, like construction of a greenhouse, purchase of a tractor, all those are decisions which the farmer is using his money to buy. All those are fixed capital, right? Because the farmer is going to use them for a long period of time, some 10 years or 12 years. So there we have to apply the time comparison principle. This is very important because the farmer should be knowing, right, whether by using a tractor he is going to get benefited or not, whether by going for a greenhouse he will be getting returns or not. That is possible only by the application of the time comparison principle, by seeing the compounding and discounting techniques. Okay. Now the first one, before going to the discussions about all the laws, we'll be seeing in short what are these principles about, right? The first one is the law of variable proportions, okay, also called as law of diminishing returns, also called as law of life itself, right? Law of life. Why law of life? Because here, just because you keep on adding inputs, you cannot get, more and more output. At some point of time, the output is going to decline. That is what the marginal returns are about, right? So the marginal, unit in input may increase, but the marginal unit in output will decrease, right? So this principle is important because it will solve us the problem of how much to produce. So if the farm management decision is how much to produce, the farmer has to employ this law of variable proportions. He has to optimally produce. What is optimality? So he has to use the input optimally and he has to get the output optimally. So we have learned the laws, right? We know the profit rules of this. We'll be seeing it. Okay, so all these laws have got profit rules, right? So here you see, this law helps in determination of optimum input to use as well as the optimum output to be produced, right? So as I told you, the factor product relationship is being governed by this law, right? Second, this one, principle of factor substitution. So if the farm management decision is how to produce, the farmer's question is how to produce. So our suggestion is you have to produce in such a way that your production cost is minimum. The production cost per unit should be minimum, right? So that is what the correct way of producing output is. So the per unit output cost should be minimum. So the principle of factor substitution answers the question of how to produce. So you see, it helps in determining least cost combination of resources. You know, here we have an assumption, right? So whatever combination of resource that we use will be getting the same output. You know, iso quant. Iso means same, quant means quantity of output. So whatever combination that we are going to use, the output is going to be the same. So if whatever combination that we are going to use, the output is going to be the same, let us use that combination which comes with least cost. Yeah? That is the guiding principle behind the principle of factor substitution. That is, use those resources or use that combination of resource where the cost is minimum. Because anyhow, the combinations, the various combinations of the resources are going to give the same output, right? Certainty, same output. Then principle of product substitution. So what to produce? So here in the case of principle of factor substitution, we were keeping the output constant, right? But here the input is constant, right? So only the product is changing. So any combination of two inputs will give the same product, right? If that is the case, so we have to choose enterprises. So we know what enterprise, right? What's an enterprise? Enterprise is an returns giving activity. Okay, any activity that gives monetary or economic returns is an enterprise. Like you take in crop, we have groundnut, so groundnut enterprise. We have cotton enterprise. We can have sesame enterprise. We have pulse enterprise. Like that we can have for livestock. We can have for apiary. We can have for poultry. We can have for fishery. So whatever activities that the farmer is taking, all these activities intended for economic gain is an enterprise, right? So what enterprise the farmer should choose so he can maximize his profits, his or her, no matter gender neutral. For the farmer to maximize his profits, what particular enterprise combination he has to choose. In principle of factor substitution, what the guiding principle is, any combination of two resources is going to give same output. So the farmer has to choose that combination of resources where the cost is minimum. But here the farmer has to choose that combination of output where the profit is maximum. So both are different. Now, minimum loss principle. So in case of adversity, where the farmer has to think whether he has to continue his production or not, there he can go for the application of minimum loss principle or cost principle, whether to continue farming or not. If he has to continue, in the long run or short run? In the long run, what is the profit rule that we can see for the farmer to continue his farming business? In the short run, what parameters the farmer has to see whether to stop or continue his farming? So what are the profit rules? That is very important, right? Then principle of equi-marginal returns. Equi means equal. What is marginal? Additional. You know, right? Marginal cost, marginal product. What is marginal cost? What is the formula for it? Marginal cost. It means additional cost. It means delta TC upon delta TC upon delta Y. Marginal cost, MC. Additional change in total cost to the additional change in output, delta Y. Or if you go for marginal input cost, MIC. So delta TC upon delta X, because input, right? So additional change in total cost to additional change in input. What is MVP? Marginal value of product. What is the formula for it? Delta TVP upon delta X. Additional change in total value product to the additional change in input. So here we have principle of equi-marginal returns. What is that equi-marginal returns? So the marginal, that is additional returns, are equal. So when the farmer has got resources, and he is facing a scarcity. Now he has to allocate the resources among different enterprises in such a way that the MVP is equal in all the cases. For example, if the farmer has got 3 enterprises, let us say he has got sugarcane, he has got cotton, he has got groundnut, some weird combination, right? Whatever. Okay, let us go for good combination. Let us take wheat, cumin, cotton, right? This is good combination, right? All the 3 crops, rabi crops. So a farmer has got wheat, he has got cumin, he has got cotton, right? Now he has got 10,000 rupees, right? He has to apply fertilizers to all these crops. Now what he has to do? So he has to allocate his resource, that is money, in such a way that MVP, marginal value product, or MR, marginal return, is equal in all the cases. That is, for example, if only 2,000 rupees is left, right? Now that 2,000 rupees should be allotted to the enterprise where MVP is maximum. For example, cotton is giving more MVP than cumin or wheat. The farmer has to go and apply that resource to cotton because it is giving more MVP, right? In some case, if the MVP is same, right, in all the 3 crops, then the farmer has to take decision accordingly of allocating a suitable amount of resource to all the 3 enterprises, right? Then principle of opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost, which we have seen? Opportunity cost is the cost of what? Returns foregone of the next best alternative. So we have seen 5 words, right? The 5 words which are recurred, returns foregone of next best alternative. Returns foregone of next best alternative. That is what is opportunity cost. So you have to choose enterprise in such a manner that the opportunity cost is minimum. For example, if you have groundnut, if you have cotton, groundnut is giving you 20,000 rupees and cotton is giving you 40,000 rupees. So the farmer has got only 1 acre of land. If he is taking cotton, so he will be getting 40,000 rupees. So what is opportunity cost? The returns of groundnut. So the farmer is sacrificing the return from groundnut and he is taking up cotton. So returns foregone of next best alternative. So the farmer's current return is more than the opportunity cost. But suppose if the farmer takes up groundnut instead of cotton, then his opportunity cost is more because cotton would have given him 40,000 rupees. Now the farmer is getting a return of 20,000 rupees and he is sacrificing return of 40,000 rupees, right? Then principle of comparative advantage. Regional specialization. Some regions are, more tilted towards growing a particular crop, right? They have got natural advantage, they have advantage of soil, they have advantage of people, they have advantage of labor, recruit labor, topography, natural elements, they have advantage of groundwater or channel water. For example, in wheat, Punjab, Haryana, they can take up wheat because they have canal water, right? The same thing, to cultivate wheat in Gujarat, the farmer has to depend on groundwater. So there, the cost of cultivation of wheat in Gujarat may be more than the case of wheat in cotton, wheat in Punjab and Haryana. Why? Because Punjab farmers are taking canal water, Gujarat farmers are using groundwater. So there is chance for the cost of cultivation to go high in case of Gujarat, right? So they may advise that Punjab farmers should take up, wheat, and Gujarat farmers should go for some other crop like groundnut, where they have comparative advantage. So that is what is. Then comes your time comparison principle. This is very useful in case of investment decisions. Investment, I say, when you are dealing with fixed capital, when you are dealing with working capital. Okay, when you are dealing with working capital, that is the spending money for those items which the farmer is going to consume or utilize within 1 year. You take seed, fertilizer, pesticides. The farmer is not going to have it forever, for more than 1 year. In the case of tractor, in the case of land, in the case of farm building, the farmer is going to spend money in purchasing fixed capital, which will be using it for 10, 12 years altogether, right? So the income is spread. The returns which the farmer is getting from fixed capital is spread over the time period. But the returns which the farmer is going to get from working capital, like seed, fertilizer, is within a year, right? So the duration is short. So in that case, the farmer, whether he has to go for that fixed capital or not, can be decided by applying the discounting principle or compounding principle, depending on the alternative, right? Now, first one. So we have seen 8 different economic principles. The first one is law of variable proportions. Second one is principle of factor substitution. Third one is principle of product substitution. Then comes your minimum loss principle. Then your principle of equi-marginal returns. Then you have principle of opportunity cost. Then you have principle of comparative advantage. Then comes your time comparison principle, right? So you can have some, some keyword for you to remember all these principles. Once you remember all these principles and once you understand the concept, it is easy for you to explain, right? Now, law of diminishing marginal returns. What is that? So you can see at the graph right here, it is input, it is output. So in x-axis we have input, in y-axis we have output. Let us say labor, and here any product, maybe groundnut or cotton, right? So if you keep on increasing input, right, the output is increasing till some extent, and then the output shows declining trend. It decreases after some point. So this is what the nature of agriculture is. So you are increasing only one input, labor. What about other inputs? Ceteris paribus. So by keeping other inputs fixed, ceteris paribus, when you are increasing only one input, then output will increase only to a certain extent, then it will becomes constant, then decreases. So this is what is the law of diminishing marginal returns. Now the farmer has to decide how much input he has to use, or rather how much output he has to produce, how much to produce. So what is the optimal level of input and what is the optimal level of output, right? So you see, this is the fundamental economic law, or it is also called as law of variable proportions or law of life. So this is very important in agriculture because agriculture is governed by natural factors. This is the basic law in agriculture. So it tells us how much input to use. What's the formula for it? We have the formula, right? MVP is equal to MIC. So this is the profit rule which will tell us how much input to use. Similarly, how much output to produce. What we have MR is equal to MC. So MR equal to MC tells us how much output to produce. What is MVP? Marginal value product. Marginal is additional. Then MIC is marginal input cost, additional input cost. So the formula is delta, which means change. So delta TVP, delta total value product upon divided by input, right? Delta X. Then similarly, MIC, marginal input cost is equal to delta TIC upon delta X. Then how much output to produce? Optimal level of output. MR equal to MC. MR means marginal returns. MC means marginal cost. So what is this one MR? So MR, marginal returns, is equal to delta TR upon delta Y, because how much output to produce, optimal output level. So MC, marginal cost, is equal to delta TC upon delta Y. So how to get this TR? We have only output, right? So how to get TR, total revenue or total returns? How to get TVP? We have output Y and we have input X. How to get this one, TVP, total value product? Nothing but multiplying Y with the price per unit of Y. So whatever the quantity of Y output you are getting, for example, a farmer is getting 80 kg of output. So 80 kg into price per kg of output, for example, 10 rupees. So 80 into 10 is equal to rupees 800. So this is the TVP, total value of product. Are you getting it? So what is the profit rule? Profit rule is optimal input level and optimal output level. So optimal input level and optimal output level should be equal. That is the profit rule. So there, the farmer has to keep on using inputs till the point when MVP is equal to MIC, right? So the farmer has to stop having output when MR equal to MC. How the farmer can stop having output? By stopping inputs, right? So this is what is law of diminishing marginal returns, or law of diminishing marginal utility, or law of variable proportions or fundamental economic law or law of life. What it means? Ceteris paribus, keeping other inputs constant. If you or if the farmer increases input, the rate of input, then output keeps on increasing to a certain extent, becomes flat, constant, and then declines. So this is what is law of diminishing marginal returns. Here we should be observing two things, right? We have law of variable proportions as well as we have law of returns to scale. Here what we are seeing here, we are keeping only one input variable, right? And then fixing other inputs constant, then seeing what is the behavior of output. So what is the behavior of output when only one input is variable, other inputs are constant? So this is called as law of variable proportions. Here, this is about the long run. In the long run, as we have seen, no input can be assumed to be constant. All the inputs are variable in the long run. The farmer who is using 1 acre of land in the season, in the long run, after 10 years or 15 years, he may increase his land or he may decrease his land. So in the long run, nothing is fixed. So now we have to see what is the behavior of output when all inputs are changed simultaneously, right? So what is the behavior of output when all inputs are changed simultaneously? So this is what is called as law of returns to scale. When all inputs are changed, when all inputs are variable. Here, only one input is variable, ceteris paribus, keeping other inputs constant. So this is the production law, which we have seen. Now, coming to the principle of factor substitution. So we have seen the first one. It is called as factor-product relationship, and the law governing that relationship is law of diminishing marginal returns. Now coming to the principle of factor substitution. Here the farm management decision is what? How to produce. There, in the case of LDMR, how much to produce. Here, how to produce. That is producing output with the least cost. Okay, least cost way of producing output. So objective is cost minimization. There, output optimization, right? So here, there means LDMR. Most appropriate combination of inputs with least cost. Now, what is the profit rule of it? Profit rule is to obtain least cost combination of inputs. Why? Because the assumption over here is what? Isoquant. Whatever combination of inputs, for example, X1, X2, we have two different inputs. You take urea, potash, X1, X2. Whatever combination of urea and potash that the farmer is going to use, the farmer is certainly going to get the same output. The principle of certainty. When output is going to be the same, whatever the combination the farmer uses, so the farmer has to use the least cost combination of producing input. So that can be given by MRTS is equal to PR. MRTS is equal to IPR means inverse price ratio, right? MRTS is a slope of isoquant. You know isoquant, right? What is isoquant? Any combination of two resources giving same output. A curve connecting any combination of two resources giving the same output. Isoquant, right? Slope of isoquant is MRTS. Marginal rate of technical substitution. Then we have price ratio. Price ratio. What is price ratio? The slope of iso cost line. What is iso cost line? What is iso cost line? Any combination of resource that can be purchased with the same amount of money. Iso cost line, same cost. So MRTS is equal to IPR, right? So now what we have is, you see, now we have got profit rule. We know what is profit rule. Profit rule is the farmer has to select the least cost combination of output, and which can be done by equating MRTS with PR. Now, what if? So you see this one. So delta X2 upon delta X1, which is nothing but MRTS, marginal rate of technical substitution. So substitution is happening between X1 and X2. X1 is one input, X2 is another input. You say X1 is urea, X2 is potash. So we have two inputs, substitution is happening. So what is the rate of substitution, right? So marginal rate of technical substitution is happening. So X2 potash, X1 urea. We used to denote inputs as X1, and output as y. Input as x, output as y. So what is this x2? X2 stands for replaced input, that is sacrificed input. X1 stands for added input. So when you are adding one input, then you have to replace another input, right? For example, in cricket, what happens? There can be only 11 players, right? So once you want to bring new player, right, then the existing player has to be substituted. Substitution. So here x2, the input which is replaced, and x1, the input which is added. So delta means marginal, right? Additional. So delta x2, additional change in replaced input, delta x1, additional change in added input. If this is more than P of x1, P of x2. What is P of x1? The price of x1 input, the price of x2 input. This is price ratio. If the MRTS is more than price ratio, then the farmer has to increase the use of x1. Then if delta x2, change in replaced input, right, upon delta x1, change in added input, if it is less than price of input x1 upon price of input x2, then increase the use of x2. Are you able to follow this? You see, now we have to equate MRTS is equal to price ratio. So this is what the profit rule is, right? We have to equate. Both should be same. If they are to be same, so MRTS is nothing but delta x2 upon delta x1. Price ratio is nothing but P of x1 upon P of x2, right? So now both these should be equal. Then only we can attain the least cost combination. So here, if MRTS is more than the price ratio, it means what? The farmer can still, go for, adding and replacing inputs. Still he can go and obtain least cost combination, because here MRTS is more than the price ratio. What the farmer can do? So here the farmer has to decrease here the figure in x2, decrease the value in x2. If the additional change in x2 is 20, the farmer has to keep on adding x1 so that the value in numerator decreases. The value in denominator should increase and the value in numerator decreases. Only then MRTS will be equal to PR. Basic mathematics, right? Then here, delta x2 upon delta x1 less than P of x1, P of x2. It means what? The value, that is the additional change, the value in the numerator is very less. That is why MRTS is less than the price ratio. So if you are able to increase the additional change, the value in the numerator part, then this will increase from 20, 30, 40. And if you are keeping it constant or reducing it, then MRTS will get equal to the price ratio, right? So the profit rule, when MRTS is more than a price ratio, increase use of x1. The profit rule, when MRTS is less than price ratio, then increase use of x2, right? Let us see with the help of a table for better understanding. Here we have MRTS x1, x2. We have price ratio x1, x2. This is very important, right? Because this helps in identifying which is replaced input and which is added input. So here MRTS x1, x2 means x1 is added, x2 is replaced. Again, price ratio x1, x2 means x1 is added, x2 is replaced inputs. We have price of x1, for example, rupees 8.44 per unit. We have price of x2, 4 per unit, right? Here we have all the x1 in various proportions. We have x2, right? Now, this is the additional change, delta x1. So what is additional change? In the series, right? You have to detect the next value from the previous value. For example, here we have 550 minus 500, 50. So next in the series, we have 600, the next value from the previous value, 550. Again, you have 50. So this is the additional change. What is the additional change that has occurred in the case of x1? Similarly, what is the additional change that has occurred in case of x2? So what we have delta x2, let us not worry about the, uh, plus or minus sign. Okay, it is not needed at all. So what we have is, it is sign neutral, let us say. So 2065 minus 2190, it is 125 or minus 125. Let us not worry about the sign. So 125. So and then delta x2, 1943 minus 2065, we have 122. So like that we have found delta x1 upon delta x2. Now we have to find what MRT is, marginal rate of technical substitution, which is the slope of isoquant. It is nothing but delta x2 upon delta x1. So 125 upon 50, 2.50. Similarly, 110 upon 50 is 2.20. Then we can find price ratio. Nothing but P of x1 upon P of x2. It is inverse price ratio, right? You see here we are taking delta x2 in the numerator. Here we are taking P of x1 in the numerator. So this MRTS should be equal to the inverse price ratio. So what you're doing, P of x1 is 8.44. So 8.44 upon 4, you're getting constantly 2.11. Now you see the MRTS should be equal to the price ratio, because that is the point where we can get least cost combination of using inputs or least cost combination of producing output. You see here, you see now the cost. This is the cost, right? Total cost. This is the contribution of the x1, x2 items. So total cost is from rupees 6161, then we have 6343, then we have 6059. So 6059 is the least cost. So this is the least cost combination. So least cost combination of the resources producing same output. So the same output can be produced at a least cost when we are using 750 units of x1 and 1610 units of x2. This is the least cost way of producing output. Now you see here, for example, 2.36 and 2.11. It means what? The MRTS is more than the price ratio. So when MRTS is more than price ratio, now what you're getting as a cost? 6068. So 2.36, 2.11. MRTS is more than price ratio. The cost is coming to be 6068. Now what is our decision? We have to reduce the cost, least cost. So now if you increase x1, that is 650, you are increasing to 700. So you are increasing x1. What is happening? You see now the cost is reduced. From 6068, the cost is reduced to 6059. Why? Because you have increased x1. Now for a change, instead of increasing x1, you take the same thing. MRTS is more than the price ratio. Now what we are doing is, we are increasing x2, right? So from 1825, the physical unit in x2 is increased to 1943, right? What is coming now? You see now cost 6092. So from 6068, the total cost has increased to 6092, which is not advisable, because the decision should be decreasing the cost. So that is why we have to add x1 so as to decrease the cost. Now you see here, if delta x2 x1 is more than price of x1 x2, that is MRTS more than PR, then increase the use of x1. Now you see this one, 1.5 to 2.11. This is your MRTS and this is your price ratio. So here MRTS is less than the price ratio. Now what is the cost? 6163. Okay. Now if you increase x1 from 900 to 950, what is happening? The cost is increased to 6249. So from 6163, the cost of producing the same output has increased to 6249. Again, this is not advisable, because here the farm management decision is how to produce with least cost. So what you're doing? So what you're doing is, if MRTS is less than PR, then you increase x2. So from 1349 physical unit, the x2 is increased to 1425. Now you see the cost, it is 6108. So from 6163, the cost has reduced to 6108. So you see now, when MRTS is less than price ratio, increase use of X2. Is it clear? Right, it should be clear. Now you see. Now we are taking MRPS. What is MRPS? Marginal rate of product substitution. There MRTS is marginal rate of technical substitution of inputs X1, X2. Now you see here MRPS Y1, Y2. So here we are trying to substitute products. Why? Because the input is constant. Whatever input the farmer uses, the farmer is going to get the same product. If that is the case, what combination of product the farmer has to use so that he can maximize his returns. So profit maximization is the decision rule. So the farm management decision should focus on maximizing profits. Again, same. MRPS Y1, Y2 should be equal to price ratio of Y1, Y2. That is the case, right? Now you see here. So here MRPS Y1, Y2 2.10, price ratio Y1, Y2 2.11, right? So they are equal. Fine. The same example we have taken. Now you see the profit. This is not cost. This is profit. So profit should be maximum. Cost should be minimum. Profit should be maximum. So this is the profit. The farmer is getting a profit of rupees 6,059. Is this maximum profit? No. The maximum profit lies somewhere down. So the farmer should be getting a profit of 6,343. This is the maximum profit. We have used the same example. The same example, the optimal combination is good only for what? Inputs, because the cost is minimum. But when you are saying the cost is profit, okay, using same example, hypothetically, here we are saying the optimal combination is not giving us maximum profit. So we have to select that combination that gives us maximum profit. That is what the optimal combination is. Optimal combination in the sense MRPS is equal to PR, or the combination which is in equilibrium. So in the case of product relationship, we can establish equilibrium only when MRPS is equal to price ratio. At the same time, the profit has to be maximum. In this example, the profit is maximum in this case, right? Now you see. So we have MRPS. If you're taking this hypothetical example, right? If you're taking this example hypothetically, we have MRPS 2.5. We have price ratio of Y1, Y2 2.11, right? So here MRPS is more than the price ratio. More than the price ratio. And the profit that which you are obtaining is 6124. 6124 is the profit, and MRPS is more than price ratio, right? Now, if we increase Y1, what will happen? If we increase Y1, then MRPS is same, right? Less is more than price ratio, but you see the profit is decreasing. So when MRPS is more than price ratio, we should not be increasing Y1. When MRPS is more than price ratio, we should not increase Y1, because what is happening, you see, the profit is decreasing. But what we have to do, you see here, when MRPS delta Y2 upon delta Y1 is more than price ratio, increase Y2. Yes, you see again here, this is the MRPS and this is the price ratio. So MRPS is more than price ratio. What you're doing, you are increasing Y2. So from 1715 physical unit, the Y2 is increased to 1825. MRPS more than price ratio, the farmer has to increase Y2. Now you see profit. From 6,059, the profit in the hands of farmer has increased to 6,068. When MRPS is more than price ratio, the farmer has to increase Y2. What if the farmer increases Y1? You see now, you take this one. MRPS is more than price ratio, right? The farmer, instead of increasing Y2, the farmer is increasing Y1. The farmer is, if he is increasing Y1, he'll be getting 6,059 lesser profit. Instead of that, if the farmer increases Y2 from 1825 to 1943, he is getting more returns. From 6,068, the farmer is getting extra returns, 6092. So when delta y2 upon delta y1 is more than P of y1 upon P of y2, increase y2 opposite to that of the least cost, because cost and profit are opposite to each other. The cost has to come down, the profit has to increase. So this is opposite to the cost. Similarly, if the MRPS of product relationship is less than P of y1 y2, then what to do? You see here. So this is your MRPS 1.52 and this is your price ratio 2.11. So the MRPS is less than the price ratio. What the farmer has to do? The farmer is getting a profit of 6163. So the farmer has to increase y1. You see now, from 900, the farmer is increasing y1 to 950. What he is getting? He is getting profit of 6249, which is more than 6163. So when delta y2 upon delta y1 MRPS is less than P of y1 upon P of y2, the decision to be taken is to increase profits. So the profit of a farmer can be increased by increasing y1, which is opposite to that of the least cost combination. The cost has to go down, the profit has to increase. Are you getting it? So both are quite different, but even though we have some kind of commonality. And now here, important thing is, what is MRPS? MRTS we know, right? MRTS is the slope of isoquant. And what is MRPS? The slope of PPC. What is PPC? PPC is revise, okay? Now, so principle of product substitution. Here beside example now. After seeing example, we are explaining it, okay? So here the decision is what to produce, what combination to produce, which can give maximum returns to farmer. Objective is profit maximization. Here we have got different relationships, which I already covered, okay? We know we have complementary, we have supplementary, we have competitive type of relationship. Between products, two products can be complementary. Example, two products can be supplementary and two products can be competitive. Give some examples, okay? Then we have to select most appropriate combination for maximum profit, right? Profit rule, the MRPS should be equal to PR. So if MRPS is here less than PR, if MRPS is less than PR, increase X2. You see, MRPS is less than PR, then increase X2. Oh, no, not this one. Again, I'm sorry. Okay, this one, right? You have to go with this one. Yeah, that is of cost. Now, product. If MRPS is less than PR, increase Y1. You see, here we have MRPS less than PR, profit of 6108. So increase Y1. A profit of 6163. Now, then what we have? MRPS more than PR. Will go? Yes. So here we have MRPS, marginal rate of product substitution. This is more than PR. Why? 2.36 is more than PR. Profit is 6068. Now, to maximize profit, what you have to do? Increase Y2. So from 1825, the Y2 is increased to 1943. The farmer is getting his profit maximized. From 6068, the profit now increases to 6092. So if MRPS is more than PR, increase Y2. If MRPS is less than PR, increase Y1, opposite to that of least cost combination. Okay. But we have seen this. Again, there are some profit rules, what we have to do, okay, which we have already discussed. Now coming to law of equi-marginal returns or law of same or equal marginal returns. This was first given by H.H. Gosson, an Australian economist. So this is also called as Gosson's second law. He also got first law. We don't know that, but you know, first, this is second law, right? Now, this is called as law of maximum satisfaction, because the law aims at getting maximum returns for the farmer as well as maximum satisfaction for the consumer, right? So now what is the principle behind this law? So the profit from a limited amount of variable input can be maximized. From a scarce resource, the profit can be maximized. How come? When that input is used in such a way that MVP or margin return of that input is equal in all the cases. The farmer has got three enterprises, paddy, livestock, cumin, for example. Now, if he has got limited resource, money, okay, then the farmer, okay, can maximize his profit when, if he is using his limited resource in such a way that MVP or marginal return is equal in all the cases. In all the three enterprises, okay, the MVP or MR should be equal. Then only the farmer can realize profit. That is why it is called as law of maximum satisfaction. In other words, you can say the farmer can get maximum utility by allocating the scarce resource in such a way, that is money in such a way that last rupee spent on each item provides the same marginal utility. Able to follow it? You will with the help of this example. Now you see, suppose we have a farmer, if he is having 50,000 rupees for investing in viable enterprises, right? He has to get maximum profit from this investment. He has got crop enterprise, dairy enterprise, and poultry enterprise. If he has got three enterprises, an amount of 50,000 rupees. Now you see the amount of capital. So the farmer is having all the three enterprises, crop, dairy, and poultry. Okay, now it is established, right? Now this is the variable input, right? So the first 10,000 rupees. So totally has got 50,000 rupees. The first 10,000 rupees, if the farmer is investing in crop, he'll be getting 20,000 rupees. In the case of a dairy, he is getting 19,000 rupees. In case of poultry, he is getting 21,000 rupees. If the farmer is investing his entire 50,000 rupees, so 10,000 in the first, then second stage, 10,000, third stage, like that. If the farmer is investing his entire 50,000 rupees in one enterprise alone, that is crop, what he is going to get? He will be getting 26,000 rupees. So that is the profit he is going to get. And if the farmer, suppose, if he uses in all the stages his entire scarce resource, that is amount of 50,000 rupees in dairy, then he'll be getting net profit or maximum profit, whatever you call it, 22,000 rupees. In the case of poultry, the farmer can get 28,000 rupees. So now, how the farmer can use his money so that he can get maximum profit? You see here, the farmer can maximize his profit. How come? When he is using, okay, the first 1,000 rupees in poultry. The first 1,000 rupees the farmer has to use in poultry. Why? Because the poultry is giving more marginal returns when compared to that of dairy and crop. You see, 21,000 rupees is more than 20,000 rupees and 90,000 rupees. The poultry is giving more marginal return. So the first 1,000 rupees should be allotted in poultry. The second 10,000 rupees, sorry, should be given to crop. Why? You see here, the farmer has got 10,000 rupees. Now he can allot to crop because the crop is giving MVP of 20,000 rupees, right? Third 10,000 rupees should be given to crop again because the crop is yielding 19,000 rupees, right? So 21,000, then 20,000, then 90,000, then we have dairy now, 19,000. So the fourth 10,000 rupees should be given to dairy, 19,000. What about fifth? So we have 21,000 from poultry, we have 20,000 from crop. So first and second parts are over. Now we have got third, fourth, and fifth 10,000 rupees. The third should be allotted to dairy because 19,000 rupees. The fourth should be given to again crop because 19,000 rupees. Then we have poultry, which is again giving 90,000 rupees, 19,000. So again 10,000 should be given to poultry, 19,000 rupees. Now you see. So total 50,000 rupees. So we have marginal return 98,000, net profits 48,000. Here the net profit the farmer obtained 26,000, 22,000 and 28,000. Here net profit is 48,000. So the farmer can maximize his net profit when he is allocating his limited resource in such a way that MVP of the last unit is same as the previous unit. You see, this is last unit, right? 10,000. Sorry, 10,000. MVP of the last unit, 19,000, is more or less equal to the MVP of the previous unit. So in the fourth part of 10,000, okay, in the fourth stage, the 10,000 was given to dairy, giving the farmer return of 19,000 rupees, right? So now the farmer has got only 10,000 rupees, okay? So that remaining 10,000 rupees should be given to that enterprise, which can give MVP more or less equal to the MVP of the previous unit. So in the previous case, the MVP was 19,000 rupees. Now by applying equi-marginal return, equal margin, equi-marginal return, the farmer has to allot or allocate the last unit, that is 10,000 rupees, to that enterprise where the MVP is more or less equal to the previous case. You see now here MVP of crop 19,000 is equal to MVP of dairy and poultry. In the earlier case, the farmer has to allot his capital or money to that enterprise which can give maximum MVP. So here the MVP is maximum, again maximum among all the different returns. And the last unit of the available capital is applied to that enterprise, giving MVP which is more or less equal to the MVP of the previous case. The previous case is dairy. Now the farmer has to identify, for example, the previous case is dairy, 19,000 rupees. Where is that? Here, 19,000 rupees. So the farmer has allotted the fourth part of the limited capital to dairy. Now the fifth part of the limited capital, that is 10,000 rupees, the farmer has to allot to that enterprise, which gives more or less same MVP as that of dairy. Now we can go for crop. The crop is not giving, the crop is next giving only 15,000 rupees. So not feasible. Then you can take dairy. It is 18,000 rupees. So the farmer can allot to dairy. Then he has to take poultry. The poultry is giving 19,000 rupees. So 19,000 rupees is close, is more than this MVP, right? That is why the farmer applies the equi-marginal principle so as to get maximum profit. Okay, now you see. You see now, profit from a limited amount of variable input is maximized when that input is used in such a way that marginal return or MVP from that input is equal in all enterprises. So allocate inputs which are limited in such a way that MVP of the last unit is equal in all cases. Or profit rule is what? Allocate limited input where MVP is greatest. And when you have the last unit of capital, allocate to that enterprise from which the MVP obtained is equal to the MVP of the previous enterprise. Are you getting it? Right. Now you see here, in the case of sugarcane, wheat, cotton, what we have here, we are again going to apply the equi-marginal principle. Right now you see the farmer has got 500 rupees, farmer has got 3,000 rupees. So this is the amount which he has got, which he is applying in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 6 parts, the farmer is applying 3,000 rupees. Okay, the first 500, just a minute. Yeah, welcome back. Now you see the farmer, by employing the principle of equi-marginal returns, he can allocate this limited capital of 3,000 rupees. How come? The first 500 rupees, the farmer should allocate to sugarcane because it is giving more MVP or more MR, 800 rupees. The second 500, the farmer should allocate to wheat. It is giving 750 rupees. Then the third 500, he can again invest in sugarcane because MR is 700, third. Now the fourth 500 should be given to sugarcane. Fifth 500 should be given to wheat. And the remaining 500 rupees should be given to that enterprise which can give MVP as much as similar to the MVP of the previous case. Okay, so in the up to 2,500, the farmer has invested. The last batch of investment was in wheat. The farmer got 650 as MVP. Now the farmer has to invest his last remaining part of his capital in such enterprise where the MVP is more or less same to the previous case. So previous case was 650. Now that enterprise which is giving 650, that the farmer should invest, right? If you see sugarcane, the maximum MR is 640. Okay, more or less close. Let us see. If we take wheat, the maximum MR is what? 580. If we take cotton, the maximum MR is 650. So the MVP or MR of cotton is more or less equal to that of the previous case of wheat. So the farmer has to apply the last remaining capital to cotton. So in this way, the farmer can get more profit. If he is applying all his capital to only one crop, the profit the farmer which he is going to get is less. If he is applying in this manner, the profit which the farmer is going to realize will be more. Okay. Similar in the case of consumer's utility, right? Suppose if you say a consumer has got 6 rupees and he wants to spend on apples and bananas. So what combination the farmer has to choose, or how he has to spend so that he can maximize his utility. So this is the marginal utility. The farmer has got 6 rupees. He is applying 1 rupee at a time. First rupee, second rupee, third rupee, fourth rupee, fifth rupee, sixth rupee. So if he is applying the first rupee, or if he is spending the first rupee on apple, if he is getting margin utility of 10 utils, right? Now the same first rupee, if he is applied to banana, the farmer is going to get satisfaction of 8 utils. So you see, then second, the apple is giving 9 utils, then banana is giving 7 utils. Okay. Now, if the farmer wants to maximize his utility, or if the consumer wants to maximize his utility, if he is applying all to apple, or if he is applying all to banana, he won't be getting maximum utility. Okay, so he has to use the principle of equi-marginal returns so that he can maximize utility. So the first can be given to apple, 10 utils, so 10. Second again can be given to apple, 9, so 10 plus 9. Third can be given to apple, so 10 plus 9 plus 8. Fourth can be given to banana because 8. Fifth can be given to what? Apple, 7. Then sixth can be given to apple. No, because apple has got only 6 utils. It should be given to banana, 7. So you see now, 7 is equal to 7. The MU margin utility of banana is equal to 7 in the case of apple. Now you see. The condition of MU of apple is equal to MU of banana is also satisfied, right? So the total utility of consumer is 49 utils. This is the highest obtainable utility which the consumer can obtain by spending rupees 4 on apples and 2 on bananas. So any other allocation of the last rupee will give less utility to the consumer. For example, this is the last rupee, 6 rupees. If he is allocating on apple, he'll be getting 6 or 5. If he is allocating on banana, he can get only 6, 5, 4, right? So the guiding principle is the last remaining capital, the last remaining money, for example, whatever you call it, should be applied to that component where the MU or MVP is same to that of the previous component. Previously, the consumer obtained 7 utils in the fifth unit of money. The consumer obtained 7 utils. So the sixth unit of money should be giving the consumer the same utils, right? If he is getting 7 utils in the fifth unit of money, the sixth unit of money should be giving the same utils. So 7. So 7 equal to 7. In this way, a consumer or a farmer can maximize satisfaction or maximize profit respectively. So this is what is called as equi-marginal principle, where the marginal returns or marginal utility or marginal value of product should be equal in cases, so that the profit or consumer satisfaction gets increased accordingly. Okay. Now, principle of opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost? It is the cost, or the cost is nothing but the returns of the next best alternative which is foregone. You know, it is also called as alternate cost. So the income or returns sacrificed from the next best alternative, it is called as opportunity cost. Now you see here, we have got MVP of paddy, sugarcane, cotton. You know, for example, here the profit rule is MVP should be more than OC. You know, so the farmer has got 1,000 rupees. You know, 1,000 rupees. Where he should apply? He should apply paddy, sugarcane, or cotton. The farmer should apply in sugarcane. Why? Because MVP in sugarcane is more than the opportunity cost, right? Because the farmer is applying in sugarcane, he is getting return of 3,200. Now the opportunity cost of sugarcane is what? Returns foregone, returns sacrificed of the alternatives, other alternatives. So instead of sugarcane, the farmer takes up cotton, right? He'll be getting return of 2,200. Now what is opportunity cost of cotton? Opportunity cost of cotton is 3,200, because that is the returns foregone or returns sacrificed of the next best alternative. The farmer is sacrificing return of 3,200 and he is obtaining return of 2,200. So the opportunity cost should always be minimum when compared to the returns. Now you see now here, 1,100, 1,600 and then 1,000, right? Here the farmer should use this capital in only sugarcane, because sugarcane is giving MVP more, one hand, then the opportunity cost of sugarcane is also less. What is opportunity cost? Returns sacrificed or returns foregone of the next best alternatives. Here the opportunity cost of sugarcane is 1,100. If the farmer takes up paddy, he'll be getting 1,100, but opportunity cost is 1,600. That is the return sacrificed. So if the farmer had taken up paddy, he would have sacrificed 1,600. So in this case, the opportunity cost would have been more than that of paddy, more than that of the returns. Right. Now we are coming to number 6, minimum loss principle. So loss should be minimum, right? So here we should take into account both fixed and variable cost. So you know what is fixed cost, what is variable cost. Now what is fixed cost? The cost that remains unchanged whatever be the level of output. One example is interest of loan. You know, interest of loan will be unchanged, right? It is fixed. Whether the farmer is getting, you know, bumper harvest or zero harvest, he has to pay the interest. Just because the farmer is getting bumper harvest, the bank is not going to charge high interest rate, right? Then variable cost, the cost that changes with the level of output. So this principle of minimum loss shows how the producer can minimize his loss and still get some returns in times of adverse situations. For example, like we are facing now, not COVID-19 pandemic. This is the kind of adverse situation. Now the farmer can employ minimum loss to understand whether he can get some profit or not, right? He can take a farm decision on the basis of application of minimum loss principle in times of uncertainties, in times of adverse conditions like this current pandemic. Okay. Now you see, the fixed cost is 10,000, variable cost is 5,000, net income is minus 6,000. Now what will you advise the farmer to do? Should the farmer continue farming or stop? Net income is minus 6,000. Would you be asking the farmer to continue or to stop farming? The best decision that we can give is asking the farmer to continue farming even though net income is minus 6,000. Why? Because they look at the fixed cost, whether the farmer is going to have production or not. You know, the farmer has to pay a fixed cost of 10,000 rupees. He is going to face this. So net income is minus 6,000. If the farmer abandons production activity, right, then the loss is going to be minus 10,000. You know, here in this case, the loss is going to be what? It is minus 6,000, right? The loss is going to be less. You know, minus 6,000, and here the fixed cost is 10,000. So loss is less than fixed cost. So if the loss is less than fixed cost, the farmer can stop his production temporarily, not altogether. We have fixed cost 10,000. Okay, net income is minus 6,000. So we have a loss. At the same time, loss is less than fixed cost. So if the loss happens to be less than FC, the farmer can stop his production temporarily. If we take in long run conditions, in long run, the selling price that the farmer receives should be more than ATC. What is ATC? Average total cost. You know, average total cost. So the selling price which the farmer receives should be more than ATC. If it is more than ATC, it is good for the farmer. He can continue his production in the long run. But in the long run, if the selling price which the farmer receives is less than ATC, then he has to stop the production permanently. There is no meaning in continuing farming if the selling price per unit happens to be less than ATC. Now in the short run, so in the short run, if the selling price is less than ATC, the farmer should continue. Why? Because the selling price should be at least more than ABC, average variable cost. So the price which the farmer receives, if it is more than ABC and more than ATC, average variable cost and average total cost, the farmer can continue his production permanently. If the selling price happens to be more than ABC and less than ATC, the farmer can still continue production in the short run because selling price is more than ABC. Right. But if the selling price is less than average variable cost, then the farmer has to shut down his production permanently in the short run also. This is called as shutdown price. Shutdown price is selling price being less than ABC. Are you getting it? Will you get? Now you see here. So this is the minimum loss principle. We have created for you some hypothetical scenario. You see now in the price, the farmer is receiving a price of per quintal, per unit quantity sold, right? Per quintal, the price is, for example, 3,000 rupees in the first case. In the second case, 2,000 rupees. In the third case, 1,500 rupees. So we have got three scenarios or three cases. TFC, 8,000, 8,000, 8,000. Same in all the cases. Then we have TC, 16,000, same in all the cases. We have TC, total cost, nothing but TVC plus TFC. Okay, TFC plus TVC gives TC, which is 24,000, same in all the cases. Now what is production? It is 10 quintals per hectare in all the cases. Now what is gross income? Gross income is 10 quintals into the selling price, 3,000. So 30,000 rupees. So in the first scenario, the farmer is receiving gross income of 30,000 rupees. In the second case, he is getting 20,000 rupees because 10 into the price. Then we have third case, again 10 quintals multiplied with the 1,500 rupees per unit price, so 50,000 rupees. So now ATC, average total cost, which is nothing but total cost upon output, TC upon Y. So we have total cost of 24,000 rupees divided by Y, the output. We have got 2,400, 2,400, 2,400, same. ABC again, total variable cost divided by Y. We have got 600, same. Now coming to net income. What is net income? The gross income, 30,000 rupees minus the total cost in production. So in the first case, net income is 6,000 rupees. Second is minus 4,000. How come? Because the gross income is 20,000 rupees. You know, but the total cost happens to be 24,000 rupees. So minus 4,000 rupees is the net income. Then we have minus 9,000 rupees. How come? The gross income, it comes to be 15,000 rupees, whereas total cost is 24,000 rupees. So 9,000 minus 9,000. Now, whether to be or not to be, like Shakespeare says, right? Whether to cultivate or not. By applying minimum loss principle, now you see, in the first case, there is no loss, right? If the farmer is cultivating, there is no loss. But if the farmer is not cultivating, then he'll be facing a loss of 8,000 rupees. Why? Because it is fixed cost. Whether there is bumper production or zero production, the farmer has to face the fixed cost. So if the farmer is cultivating, decision of going with cultivation, there is no loss. Anyway, he is going to get net income. But if he is not cultivating, then here he'll be facing a loss of 8,000 rupees. What's the decision? Decision is the farmer should cultivate. Why? Because there is no loss and the price is more than ATC. Is it so? Yeah, you see price 3,000. What's the ATC? Average total cost, which is nothing but total cost upon Y, 2,400. 24,000 upon 10, 2,400. So the price of 3,000 rupees is more than ATC. It is more than ABC also. So in long run, short run, both are good. The farmer should continue. If he is stopping production, he'll be facing a loss of 8,000 rupees. Now, second one. Now, in second case, the farmer is getting negative net income, minus 4,000. Now, what is the total fixed cost? It is TFC. Total fixed cost is 8,000. So, if the farmer is cultivating, what he will do? If he is cultivating, then he'll be getting a loss of 4,000 rupees. But if he is not cultivating, he'll be getting a loss of 8,000 rupees because total fixed cost is more than the loss. So TFC is more than loss. So at least in the short run, the farmer should cultivate. Now look at the ATC. ATC, the farmer is obtaining 2,400, right? The price is 2,000. So you see the price is less than ATC. At the same time, the price is more than ABC. ABC is 1,600. The selling price of farmer is more than ABC. It means what? The farmer is at least able to cover the variable cost, that is operating expenses. The farmer is able to cover the operating expenses in that particular year. Why? Because the price is more than ABC. So the farmer should continue farming in short run, in the long run, for multiple time period. If the case is same, that is selling price happens to be less than ATC, then the farmer should stop production. In the short run, he has to continue. Now, third case, net income is minus 9,000, loss. If the farmer, without minding the loss, if he is cultivating, what will happen? The loss is 9,000 rupees. If he is taking a decision of not to cultivate, the loss is going to be 8,000 rupees. So the TFC is less than the loss, or loss is more than TFC. So here the loss is more than TFC. So the farmer should not cultivate. Now look at ATC, ABC. Price is 1,500. ATC is 2,400. ABC is 1,600. So the selling price is less than ATC. The selling price is less than ABC. So the farmer should stop production. So this is your shutdown price. Shutdown price is what? The selling price, if it is less than ABC. Selling price, if it is less than ABC, that is what is called as shutdown price. Because if the farmer decides to cultivate, his returns won't be sufficient even to cover the variable expenses. You forget about the fixed capital expenses. Even to cover the variable cost, the return which the farmer is going to get, it won't be sufficient. So why to do farming if the farmer is not able to cover even the variable cost, right? The MSP which the government gives, at least it has to cover the variable expenses, right? That is, we have so many, cost A1, A2. So cost A1 plus A2 is the variable cost. The MSP that the government announces should cover at least the variable expenses in cost of cultivation, A1 plus A2, which the government is doing. But if you're expecting the government to announce MSP, which can take care of cost A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, which is not possible. But again, all those are fixed expenses. But right now, the MSP is given to cover at least the variable cost. so that the farmer can keep his farming alive in the short run. In the long run, like Keynes said, in the long run, we're all dead. Now, principle of comparative advantage. So certain regions are blessed or fortunate enough to go for some crops because of the underlying climate or soil. Like Punjab specializes in wheat. We have rice in Andhra and then ground in Gujarat, right? For example, here in the case of groundnut, we say net profit per quintal. In Gujarat, net profit per quintal is 12,000 rupees. In Karnataka, if the net profit per quintal is 8,000 rupees, it means what? Gujarat is more advantageous comparatively in producing groundnut when compared to Karnataka. It means what? Gujarat has got comparative advantage. So it means the principle says that the individuals or regions will tend to specialize in production of those commodities for which they'll be having a relatively better comparative advantage. Okay. Now here we can see we have region A, we have region B, and we have taken two crops. We have wheat groundnut, right? So region A, same crops, wheat groundnut. Region B, we have wheat groundnut. Now you see total revenue in region A, it is getting 500 rupees. Region B, 225. Total revenue or returns for groundnut in region A, 225. Region B, 220. Total costs 425 rupees, 200 rupees. In the case of region B, for wheat, total cost is 210 rupees. For groundnut, it is 200 rupees. So net returns 75 rupees and 25 rupees. For region B, 15, 20 rupees. Now you look at this one, returns per rupee. Region A is getting, in the case of wheat, returns per rupee, RPR, of 1.18, which is more than that of region B, 1.07 for wheat crop. When you take groundnut, again, region A is getting RPR, returns per rupee, which of 1.13, which is more than that of region B, 1.10. It means what? Region A has got absolute advantage in both the crops. In both wheat and groundnut, region A has got absolute advantage over region B, because in both the crops, the returns per rupee is more. Now, when you look at comparative advantage, it means what? Where the region should specialize. So the region should specialize in that crop where the returns are maximum. So when compared to groundnut, for region A, the returns are maximum in case of wheat. Again, now you see here, when compared to wheat, in region B, returns are more in groundnut. So if region A wants to maximize its profit, then the region has to specialize in wheat crop alone. Similarly, if region B wants to maximize its returns, then region B should specialize in groundnut crop alone, because groundnut crop gives comparatively better returns to region B when you're comparing it with wheat. Similarly, region A, wheat crop gives comparatively better returns. So this is what is comparative advantage. Individuals or regions or entities should focus on those crops where the comparative advantage is better, and they have to specialize. That is why we have some regions specializing in some crops, like groundnut, Gujarat is specialized. Cotton, Gujarat, Maharashtra, both are specialized. Then wheat, Punjab. Rice, down south. We have Andhra, we have Karnataka, we have Tamil Nadu. All are specialized in rice, right? Lastly, we have time comparison principle. As we said, this principle we are going to apply it only in fixed capital, not in working capital, because we have time element. In working capital, within 1 year, we are going to get the outcome. There is no need to worry about time element. In case of fixed capital, which we are going to use it for prolonged time period, we have to take into consideration about the time element also. Why? Because why time element? Because we have in money, earning power of money, right? There is earning power of money. The same money, we have got two alternatives, A, B, right? If you're investing in A, after 10 years, we come to realize that B is giving more returns, right? So we are taking a risk. So depending upon the interest that the money gets, it has got earning power. Inflation, purchase power of money, right? The money which you have right now, it has got more value than the money which you are going to get in the future after 5 years. Right now, if you are getting 40,000 rupees, that is more valuable than what you are going to get after 5 years, right? Because of inflation. Then uncertainty. We need to deal with the time comparison principle because we have uncertainty. If you're investing in some enterprise, for example, you say greenhouse construction, which is going to give us results or outcome after 5 years. Right now, we are taking a decision and we are uncertain whether it is going to give us returns or not. But even then, we are going for it, hoping that it will give us returns. So we have earning power of money, and we have got, which is different from one enterprise to other enterprise. We have inflation, that is the present money is more valuable than the future money which we are going to get. Uncertainty. The element of uncertainty is certain, right? We don't know what the outcome is going to be, which comes after a time lag, right? So we have got two principles, compounding, discounting. What is compounding? It is used to find the future value of present money. Right now we have got 10,000 rupees. What is the future value of present money which we have? What you will do if you are depositing in a bank? If the bank gives you interest. So after 5 years, depending on bank's interest, you will be getting some higher amount in your initial capital. So 10,000 rupees right now, what is the future value of present money? Depending on interest, it will increase. So the formula is, you see, future value of present money, compounding, P into 1 plus I to the power of n. So P is the present value which you have got right now. I is the interest rate, n is number of years. Discounting. What is discounting? What is the present value of future money? Right now, you don't have any money. You are going to get in future. What is the present value of future money? Right now, you are doing your graduate studies, right? You are in undergraduation. After some 2 or 3 years, you will be getting a salary. So after 3 years, if you are going to get a salary of 40,000 rupees, what is the present value of that future salary? So present value, PVD, present value of future money. So where P is the present value, here P is the future sum, or you can also have F also, no problem. So I is interest rate or inflation, whatever you say, N is number of years. So compounding, it means what? The interest will keep on getting added. So when you keep on add interest, you see here, it gives the earning power of money, interest rate. It gives you earning power of money. It will vary from one enterprise to the other, like one bank to the other. Some bank may give you high interest rate. Some uninstitutional source may give you high interest rate. We don't know, right? You see here. So 100 rupees is the present money which you are having. You are applying the formula. I is interest rate. 10% means 0.10. N is 4. So you'll be having to apply the formula. When you apply the formula, you'll be having 100 into 1.10 to the power of 4. You'll be getting rupees 146.4. So after 4 years, the value of rupees 100 is going to be 146.4 rupees. So this is what the future value of present money is. Now, discounting. That was compounding, and this is discounting. What is discounting? It is a procedure to find the present value of future money. Right now, you don't have any money. In future, if you're going to get some money, what is the present value of it? The proverb is, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Right now, whatever you got is more important, more valuable than what you're going to get in the future. So bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Now, the formula is FV upon divided by 1 plus I to the power n. So in future, after 4 years, if somebody is going to get 5,000 rupees, what is the present value of it? So 5,000 upon 1 plus 0.10, you can call it as inflation also, 10% inflation, for example, or interest rate, whatever. We'll call it inflation, right? 0.10 to the power 4. So when you're dividing it, you'll be getting 3424.65. So after 4 years, if somebody is going to get 5,000 rupees, the present value of that 5,000 rupees is 3,424.65 only. So if you are able to buy some item, some good or some service for rupees 3424 right now, the same service after 4 years, for the same service after 4 years, you'll have to pay 5,000 rupees. If you're paying for your household technician or household maid, 3,500 rupees. After 4 years, you have to pay 5,000 rupees for doing the same activity. So this is what discounting is. So discounting, compounding can be applied in fixed capital items, not in working capital items, because in case of working capital, like seed, fertilizer, they'll be giving you results within 1 year. If you take tractor, farm building, any storage go down, any investment on orchard development, that is going to give us returns spread over the time period. That is why it is important to apply specifically the principle of discounting to understand whether the entity or enterprise is going to give us returns or not, right? So these are all the economic principles that we can apply in farm management. Okay, so we have seen so many economic principles. Hope you have followed it. Okay, some new principles also we have covered, right? Like Equi-marginal principle and all. And so we have revised also some old principles which are already covered. Hope you're able to follow it. And you pay attention especially to the profit rules. Profit rules are important. That only helps us to decide whether we have to go for that enterprise or not. Because the farm management decision is itself based on the profit rules. So profit rules are more important. You keep practicing the profit rules and apply your logic. That is more important. Thank you. I think you are staying safe. We are also staying safe. And you have got examination also scheduled in the 3rd week of May, it seems. So do well in the examination, and we'll be coming up with other videos also. Hope it will help you in learning. Okay, bye. Take care.